right, everyone. This modern concept of revenge, we need to discuss this because lots of people do this and it kind of gets on my nerves. Because once something goes in the mainstream, it takes off and everybody thinks, oh, this is going to be healing and this is going to be a good thing. When in all actuality, it's not a good thing to hold on to things from the past, and it's an excuse to hold things from the past. You see this gentleman on the screen, right? This face would not be familiar to you if you did not bother to do your research. This man was a 16th century English poet by the name of George Herbert. He is most known in our modern world for coining the phrase living well is the best revenge. What George Herbert may have actually meant by that statement is going on with your life without allowing things to bother you when people hurt you is the best way to live. See, the problem I have with adding revenge to anything is that revenge, when you look it up by its definition, means seeking some type of retribution for something for some injury, some wrongdoing, or perceived wrongdoing that someone has done to you. See, the problem is I'm going to tell people you need to move from this concept of revenge. I'm out here getting my revenge body. When you say you're getting your revenge body, what you're telling me is that you're overweight. You don't like that somebody picked on you or someone rejected you due to that weight. So what you have to do is get revenge by looking anywhere between 20 to 70 pounds lighter than what they're accustomed to. Maybe even, I would say, higher amount of weight loss than that. Because ideally, if you were going to lose weight and have a nice looking body, you don't need to be angry at the people that made fun of you, right? You would be angry about the association with obesity instead of an anger for things and perceptions of things people have done to you. This revenge body thing to me is absolutely astounding because it's the most telling of all the modern day revenges. You do understand that, right? Is that if you sit here and say that you need to get a revenge body, what you're saying is I need to get back at you for rejecting me. And my best way of getting back at you for rejecting me is to look like a fitness model. The revenge breakup is just as bad. I'm going to go to the same spots you hang out at and live well because I like those spots, but I'm going to pretend like I don't see you. See, this one is the worst one because you use revenge as an excuse for emotional manipulation to make someone feel something that you know for that person no longer exists or dissipated. Or perhaps they've just taken a break from you and they just need time. But instead, because you held the anger of some sort of rejection as a result of the dissolution of that union, for whatever reason, you see fit to do things that are reckless and irresponsible, like taking to stalking or taking to putting yourself in a position where that person can see that you don't care about them anymore, when chasing them down and showing them that you live well, no offense, is just another way of saying you really do care about what they've done to you. Whether you acknowledge that or not, that's up to you, but that's exactly what you're telling that person. My third and final addressing of revenge is the act of avenging something. You need to seek revenge on a bully who messed with your sibling. You need to go seek revenge on a person who killed a loved one or a family member, maybe raped or molested them or something like that. This one is the hardest for me because I can understand people's need to to avenge something in the name of revenge. Because this is when someone has done something so inhumanely horrific that you don't have the capacity to wait for the law to kick in and to punish this person for what they've done. The problem is when you go seek that vengeance, it's not going to, or that revenge for that matter, it's not going to bring back the person they took from you. And let's say that a whole lot of them will live more than die. So let's say the person doesn't die. It doesn't take away the trauma that they felt that night. And for a person to say, oh, I feel gratified now that you went and took care of this problem, they don't. Because until you seek a pastor, a counselor, or someone to deal with that trauma associated with that act that violated you, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, environmental, unless you deal with it, okay? It's going to always be a festering sore. Here's why I tell you to get away from this thing called revenge. When you give anyone any sort of revenge or any sort of way in your mind, even if that person doesn't know you're coming after them, even if you give them any amount of your wrath, unfortunately, you've given them power over you. And as long as you allow them to leverage that power, it can completely destroy you. When you guys and girls all jump on these bandwagons, okay, you need to go do your research and consider where this stuff comes from and the context to which people said it. And even with context, you still cannot change the definition of something to make you feel good about an act that you should never commit in the first place. All right. Hope this helps someone. Thank you. Have a great day.